I mean, you couldn't make this up. You've got communication and connection specialist, and now you've got a communication and persuasions specialist as well. And then I'm going to see if this one works. That's all the slide that I have. And I'm just going to leave that there. You had an elephant also. Now you've got polar bears. And I was going to bring some cute baby polar bears, but my daughter wouldn't let them go. And so what I actually have are really cute octopuses. Who would like one? I'm going to throw them up. Okay, there you go. There you go. Have I got some more? I have got some more. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do some more. Those who know me seen a LinkedIn video when I'm throwing oranges around. There you go. Who else was it? There you go, there you go, there you go. Oh, sorry, what do you got? Oh, go on. You've seen some. There's some more around. I actually stole them. I didn't take permission. No, you've got to put them back. No, I'm sure you're fine for everyone to take them, right? Yeah. The guys at the back, the octopus guys at the back have said you could keep them. So thank you very much. So my name is Saad. I work 3 days a week, and I have a direct reporting line to the chief exec. I have a dotted line to the deputy chief exec, and I have a starred line to the chair of the board. And you can imagine that's a highly political, very sensitive position to be in. Prior to this, I was the guy that they called a turnaround specialist. So Saad, a client's about to walk out the door with £3 million contract. They don't trust the VP of BD and sales. Can you go and turn it around and sort it out? Oh, we've got an £8 million debt recovery program there. It's not working. Can you go in and build trust with the team? And half of them have left the company. And by the way, you've only got 3 months to do it. So my skill ended up being building trust and rapport very, very quickly, and how to not be, as it will now become clear, polarized in my thinking. And so I want to see a less polarized world. My job was to understand the other person and what they wanted, put myself in their shoes to empathize, and who would be the first to walk in the middle ground. And this is actually called cognitive flexibility. It's one of the 5 executive functions of the brain, along with working memory. It is something that I often now teach people. So the feedback experiment that I did was with a group of 18 leaders. We ran a 12-week program, and my job was effectively to help them. These guys had low authority, so they would influence from the center, work with lots of different cross-functional teams, work with senior leaders, so there was a power dynamic there. And they had, I was told, your job is to improve their feedback, ability to communicate and build trust very rapidly with people that they don't have any connection with. And you've got to help them have their next feedback conversation. So the difficulty for me was within 2 weeks, I got the news that the company was going through a major restructure. And I had delivered a session, and that half of the cohort was going to change and not be there. And I thought, could this get any worse? And then on the program, while I was delivering the 12-week program, one of the people naturally was quite upset because the company didn't handle the news very, very well. So what I did was quickly adapt the program, and midway, I opened my laptop and I did an evaluation check. And I said, okay, how many people have now had that tough conversation that I was supposed to prepare them for? And at that time, only 30% had had a conversation. And for me, that was a massive failure, because by this point, midway, I have already helped probably 80%. Usually the stat is about 80% of people I've trained them successfully to know how to have that tough feedback conversation. So it was only about 30%, and I was really concerned. And I thought, this is just a complete disaster. When I started to speak to some of the people, they said to me, Saad, actually what you did for me was the following. You helped me realize that they're not the person that I need to have the conversation with. I need to have the conversation with myself. And so I said, okay, so what happened? What was the difference? She goes, Saad, when you looked at my email and you told me that I was giving brand guidelines to a person and they weren't following those brand guidelines, and another person said to me that when I was suggesting to an events director and a sales director that they need to follow my strategy for a particular event speaker that I want to get, I realized that the way I was communicating with them wasn't actually landing. And I was too polarized in my own thinking. I was standing, as you can tell, on one side of the South Pole, the other one was standing on the North Pole. Nobody was willing to move into the common ground, into the middle. And so one of the techniques that I use with them is when you look at the stats on that particular cohort, about 45% identified as introverts, about another 35% or so said that their communication style was indirect. Now, trying to get an indirect person to be very direct with a senior director, a VP, who they have no trust with and no credibility with, is just simply not going to work. So the techniques that I've come up with, the 20 influencing persuasion techniques, are based on sincerity. So I call them sincere persuasion. It's not manipulation. And one of them is how to put, for example, your plan into another person's plan. So one of the third people on the workshop was saying that I was talking about we need to diversify into markets because we're so reliant on income from one market. And another one of my CFOs, she was talking about, I think we're highly concentrated in China. And I was speaking to them, and she was polarized on we're highly concentrated in China. And I was saying we need to diversify, we need to put more people in these new markets, we need to onboard. None of them was coming in the middle. So what I did was I said to the CFO, I said, hey, I let go of mine. I let go of my expertise. I didn't say, hey, you need to listen to me because you've hired me as events. I know you're the CFO. Actually, I like your plan on reducing concentration in China. And I used her language, and I adapted it, and I put my plan into her plan. And all of a sudden, let go of the ego, let go of the individual perspectives, and all of a sudden, they're now collaborating, and the conflict was reduced. So what was a disaster in the beginning turned into a really cool accidental discovery on how we can boost up indirect communication, but for people in a strategic, intentional way. Because indirect communication is often seen as weak, subtle, suggestive, and it's not that. When we use indirect communication intentionally, and we embed our ideas into other people, and we're less polarized, I want to see a less polarized world, that's when we can get on with each other a lot better in society. Thank you.